Why do you think that the gamers or even ex-gamers that you admire didn't use all of these like cringy gamification apps to get the success that they have now? And why is it the fact that the largest growing industry, which is gaming, and the gamers who play those games aren't wildly successful because of life gamification? If it was the movement it was supposed to be 5, even 10 years ago, then right now it should be taking over the productivity space. But it's not, because all of these gamification gurus think so one-dimensionally, and it fucking pisses me off. What I mean is that they take these game elements in games that work for the games that were designed specifically for those games, and they try to force it into life and expect it to work. The easiest example is something like an XP leveling system. You would think that if we had an XP leveling system in life, that means that we would be so much more motivated to do the things that we would want to do and even need to do. If we could just see that progress bar go up, if we could just see the levels of our character going up, then we would be so much more motivated to do all these things, and we would far succeed those who don't understand or play games. And the reason why this isn't the case is because generally an XP system does not work for life, but it works beautifully in games because games are closed-knit systems. Imagine if we created a leveling system in real life for the people who could create technology and improve it. Now let's say within the system the max level is 100, so that means we know exactly the amount of XP that you need to get to that level 100 and exactly the kind of steps and actions you need to take to gain a level 100 in creating technology or whatever. The problem is every single year, every single month, and sometimes almost daily, now technology is improving at a rate that we just literally cannot keep up with. And if the technology improves, that means the leveling system needs to be adjusted. So if you thought you were level 50 in creating technology, now guess what? You're probably level 1. So if you don't understand the reason behind the leveling system and you try to force it into life, now you're stuck with a system that actually discourages you from what it's intended to do in the first place. A leveling system is to show you the progress that you can and have made. There are so many other things we can do to show the player progression. It doesn't have to be a leveling system. But the thing that these gamification nerds don't understand is that they can literally recreate these game design elements and make them apply to life far better than how they were intended for games. While yes, life is a game, it is not the game that you think it is. It is so much harder, so much more complex, and that means we need to have such deeper thoughts of how we design this game of life. Starting with you and me, I want to lead a movement of gamers who use their knowledge from games and apply it to their life, not in the cringy way that we've been taught and the way that has been proven to fail and never worked very well for anyone. No, we're going to redesign what life gamification is, and that's why I've called this channel Life Game Design, because we're going to think how the game designers thought about their games and think really deeply about how to apply that to life effectively and not just look like all this gimmicky bullshit, like having some random leveling system, having this stupid reward system like, oh, I go for a run for 10 minutes and I'm allowed to eat a bowl of ice cream after. Stuff like that pisses me off because life gamification in this new era has so much potential than what we were taught 5-10 years ago. Now, currently looking back into life gamification, I've seen that there's a lot of things like Notion templates and apps that have been built around this idea, but they all have fucking terrible execution, and I'm willing to put myself out there and boldly call that out, because if I find someone who's doing it properly, doing it with actual thought and effort applied to it instead of just copy and pasting game elements into life, then I would love to talk to them. But from the people that I've seen who are making these things, I won't call them out personally because I don't have anything against them. I would love them to take it a bit more seriously and think about it a bit more deeper, because these people are really talented. But the problem is that they're stuck in this one-dimensional thinking where they have this game element and they think that it has to be in life and they apply it linearly to life, and it doesn't work for people, because I know that if it was working for people, this movement would have taken off far more than how it currently is. The biggest person that I've seen in this space has about 23,000 subscribers, but his videos only get about 500 views normally. There are some outliers, but generally the things that he talks about and things that he shares are based on what I call cringification. this one-dimensional thinking of applying game design techniques to life. And it doesn't work because even though so many people are hyped and excited about this like they should be, the practical tools and tips that are given just don't apply to life because they're not redesigned for life. And now that I've made such a bold claim and put myself out there, now I need to back myself up. So I want to talk to you briefly about the attribute system that I made for life. Now, at the start, I did think very linearly about this attribute system for life, and I literally took it from Fallout, the special system that helps you understand, organize, and optimize your character in the game. And now the thing is within Fallout is that the attribute system was specifically made for the gameplay loop and the characters and the playstyles that you'll be doing within the game of Fallout. They weren't designed and created for life. So that means if I thought like these gamification gurus who take this one-dimensional level thinking, I would think about the special system and especially the last letter of it, which is L, and that stands for luck. Now that would look like me thinking about how can I really optimize my luck stat for life? And what does it look like to have luck in life? Does it mean that I have to do this? Does it mean that I have to find some spreadsheet that I can show like what are the micro stats that I can show my luck as? And honestly, like that is the level of what these people are thinking at. And that is why people get stuck with their journey of looking into life gamification because they didn't think about these things enough, even though they're nerds. Like, bro. So the easiest way to avoid that one-dimensional thinking is to take it up 2 notches into 3-dimensional thinking. The one-dimensional thinking is about the what. What is this attribute system and what do I need to do to put it into life? The second level of that is 2-dimensional thinking. How does this attribute system work? And how can I put it into life? And now I want to take it up another notch into 3-dimensional thinking. Why does this attribute system work in games? And why or why wouldn't it work in real life? So the easiest way to get to the why stage is to literally think like a game designer. The reason why game designers have an attribute system is to help the player understand, organize, and optimize their character builds to create specific play styles for what they want to do within the game. And if we think even deeper, then we have to think about why would we want to understand, organize, and optimize these things? And we have to think about the goal of life in general. And if I think about why we want things like money, happiness, and success, is because we want to have a fulfilling life. And a fulfilling life looks so different to all of us. So what this attribute should tell us is what are all the areas of life that we need to manage and understand to find fulfillment in life. And after all of the knowledge I've accrued from books and podcasts over 5 years of developing the system, I turned it into what I now call OctaCore, the 8 core areas of life that we need to understand and manage to design a fulfilling life for ourselves. And if you're like me and you're absolutely sick of this cringification of life gamification, then you can watch this video to learn more and hit the subscribe button so I can share more about what life game design really is.